do not know me, my name is Ronnie. I am a donor egg mom in waiting. And what that just means is that I was told by my doctor in order for my chances to conceive, I was to, my best chances was with donor eggs. And so that's what I did. I got some embryos on ice that are frozen for me. I am currently on the road. I have had some early miscarriages, losses. So I am still working on getting my baby. And today we have Sonya, who initially started off as a single mom by choice. She was just like, you know what?
We finna just do this thing.
I just want to be a mom, and saying that, you know, luck had itself. She found someone, and now she is on her road to getting her baby. So we can start wherever you want to start.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. As Ronnie mentioned, I am Sonya. I currently am in the space of wrapping up a third cycle of IVF. Originally, well, when I start by saying I am of Caribbean descent, and so if anybody else is out there having to deal with this and also being of Caribbean descent, that sometimes adds an extra layer. I am first generation American, and so in my mind, it was just a when, not a matter of if, that I would be having kids. I went to school, went to graduate school, came home, started my career. I am a social worker by trade. I'm a clinical social worker, so I work as a psychotherapist. I have a practice in New York City, and I have been working all of this time under the guise of I am going to meet someone, fall in love, and start a family. And had a couple misses until I got a hit. But I would say, like, originally I was engaged, and the person that I thought I was going to start a family with, I was probably like right before I turned 30. We had been talking about starting a family, so I would have been in that good age range. And I found out he was cheating on me. So I broke up from that person, moved on, and then before I was ready, I ended up getting into another relationship with someone who wasn't a good person. I ended up actually getting married to that person, and it was a very stressful time. So it wasn't, there was no children that came from that relationship. It was borderline abusive. And I was thankfully able to get away from that person and kind of just like work on myself and make sure that I wouldn't put myself in a situation such as that again. After that time, about 3 years after that time, I met my now fiance, who is amazing, and it would be a great dad. But prior to meeting him, I had gotten to a place where I was just saying to myself, like, you wanted this for a really long time. You had all of these potential partners. My ex-husband was also a sickle cell carrier. I also have the trait. And so we knew that if we were going to try, that we would probably utilize IVF for that reason. And I say we wanted to, but I more wanted to. He was more so along the lines of, let's just try. And then if we find out that they have full-blown sickle cell, we can always like just get an abortion. And that never sat right with my spirit.
Right.
So we kind of just was like, let's just wait and see. And then other things started coming up, obviously. And then it was just kind of like, we putting this all the way on the back burner. This is not going to happen if this is the kind of environment that we're going to be living in. So after that relationship, I just kind of was like, well, you almost had it happen a couple of times. Let's just go ahead and attempt to do this on your own. And I will say that was not a very easy decision for me to come to. I am someone who, I love God, and I am on staff at my church. I'm in the dance ministry, and everybody tell you, Sonya, love her some Jesus. And I struggled for a long time with having a family outside of those parameters.
Right.
I mean, to the point, my family, my friends, they were all like, just go out. Like, we'll support you. We'll be the village. You don't need a partner. And so they really were the ones who kind of pushed me to really start thinking about it. Then actually one of my doctors, I was seeing a dermatologist at the time, and she mentioned to me that she literally was a single mom by choice. She was also a believer, and she said she struggled with it for a long time. And then she finally was like, no, this is God is going to make it happen however he makes it happen. And this was how it happened for me. And she kind of gave me the courage to kind of like just look into it. I believe she's on her second child with the same donor at this point.
Oh,
I know
wow.
she out here living a life.
Wow.
She out here living a life. And once I got to that place and I finally was like, all right, we're going to give this love thing one more try. We're going to wait till the end of the year. I literally gave myself to December 31st. And by the time like late August rolled around, I was like, you know what? We just going to start in January and we're going to go start the process of attempting to have this child on our own. We're ready financially, emotionally, spiritually, all of the things. And then I met my fiance the first week in September. So I kind of just had gotten to a place where I was like, it's not going to happen, so I'm not going to bother. But I said, if this relationship works out, I'm willing to see what happens. We became a couple before the end of the year and got engaged this January, which is like 2 years later.
Oh, wow.
So it's been emotional because we already had started trying. We started trying in 2023. In October, we said, like, we don't know how long this is going to take. We know that we want to be together. Let's start trying. And we know that we're going to get married at some point. So let's just start that process now, because I was getting older. I did have fibroid surgery in June of 2021. They removed 11 fibroids. But the only thing that I had that let me know that I even had fibroids is that my period was just very heavy. My older sister has fibroids, because they come back all the time. And she actually lost a baby. She was about 4 months along when she lost that baby. The fibroid was taking up too much space. And so she had it, she lost that baby and then she had it removed. So when I found out that I had fibroid, I was like, take them out now. Just take them out. I don't want to wait until they cause any issues. Just take them out. I don't want to have to, potentially have that kind of outcome. So I had my surgery. And so when we started trying, I assumed I'm going to get off birth control and everything's just going to happen.
Right.
And then I was still snapping and nothing was happening. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm the type of person who is like, I'm going to jump on as many Google, Reddit boards. I'm going to join the Facebook groups. I'm going to find out. And so I just started doing a lot of research, and I decided, like, okay, it's been 6 months. This was like February 2024 by this point. I said, I've been doing a lot of research. It says if you're over 40, because at that time, I turned 40 in 2023. I had said that it's been 6 months. The stuff is saying that if you're over 40 and it's been 3 months, you should go see a fertility specialist. Right. I went straight to the fertility specialist. And we kind of shared exactly what we were trying to do, that we had been trying. And he was kind of like, it's probably nothing. Just try again this next month. We'll start running tests after and we'll see what happens. Ran the test. Everything looked good. They said my AMH was pretty high for my age group, which I think that was like 2.3, 2.5. But again, I was over 40, so they was like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, I don't know what any of these numbers mean, but do all the tests. Tell me whatever. They did all the tests. They said everything looks good. They did all the tests with him as well. They said everything looks good on his end. What we'll do is we'll just give you another month. This is a second month of just trying to see what happens. Still, nothing was happening 2 months beyond that point. So then they started to give me medication. I think they gave me Clomid first. I did Clomid. I remember because that first night, it was my birthday. We had went to New Orleans, and I couldn't tell if it was the pills or if there was a ghost, a New Orleans spirit in the room. But it was just it was very weird.
What was Clomid?
I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, what is it? I've never ever experienced anything like that in my life. It was very, very crazy. But that was like my first introduction to actually like really delving deep into this space. I did a Clomid that month. We did Letrozole in May. Then we did Letrozole again in June, and we did an IUI. And then in July, we did another IUI because the first one failed. We did another IUI with Letrozole again in July, and that one also failed. And then by then, they were like, you should probably think about IVF.
Right.
And at that point I was kind of like, but I thought I didn't have to do that anymore. He doesn't have the sickle cell trait. I should be able to, if nothing's wrong, I should be able to just, all of these other things should have worked.
Right.
It did not. And we decided to take some time and think about it for a little bit, sometime being like a week, not even that long. But once we decided we wanted to move forward, we found out that it would be over $12,000 with his insurance covering everything with the clinic that we were currently with. So then we said, let's take some time, kind of go to different clinics. We went to 2 other clinics, and one was like 8K, another one was 4K. All 3 very good agencies in New York. And so we ended up picking the one that was the cheapest. And we said, let's start here. We did our first round of IVF, and I did the first round of IVF, and the first egg retrieval that I did, I think we got like 8 eggs, and I was just excited. And then I realized that IVF is a numbers game.
Yep.
From the retrieval, by the time you get to day 7, we had 2 eggs that had fertilized and had gotten to blast, but then we sent it for testing, and neither of them were normal. Neither of them were euploid. And I beat myself up because the doctor had talked about a contingency plan of doing a fresh transfer, and then kind of like whatever we have left, sending that off. But I was like, no, let's just only do the testing, because what is the point in putting something in if we don't know what it is and all of this stuff. So the first cycle was essentially a bust. We just ended up having the 2 eggs, and both were abnormal. We went ahead for the second round, and for that round, we ended up getting, I think it was like 11. We got 11, and then by the time we got to the end, I did do a fresh transfer. They transferred 2 day 5 embryos. I think they were 3BB. Both of them were 3BB. They transferred both of those embryos. They had 4 that they were like, we're going to hold on and watch them for the next 2 days. 3 of them didn't make it, and 1 they froze. We were like, we're not about to send 1 to go test. We just going to freeze it.
Right, just freeze it. So are they day 3 embryos, or they all made it to blastocysts, like day 5? When you did the fresh transfer.
When I did the fresh transfer, it was 5 day. They had made it, they had gotten to day 5. Because I remember they originally was going to do a transfer on day 3, but they was like, they seem to be doing good. Let's push to day 5. So we did day 5. So we did the day 5. And I mean, we left, we usually would do this thing where when we would leave the clinic after any kind of procedure, we'd go have breakfast. And that time we had breakfast, and we was like, okay, we're going to name the baby this was going to be the middle name. My fiance, his father passed away, and so we was like, oh, we can name him after both our dads if we have twins, if both of them take, and all this stuff. We were so excited, and neither of them took. And I was just like, but I ain't gonna hold you, I was surprised, because again, if nothing is wrong with me, then if I'm doing this very intrusive thing, why is it like, I mean, you literally put it where it's supposed to go, so why is it not working?
And I think that's like valid. I think that's valid because, and this is why, I did this, is because nobody prepares you for, you hear so many stories of, oh, well, just do IVF, and my friend had twins, and that's what they did, and you're like, okay. And you walk in there, and like you said, they started you off on Clomid. And it's like, did I miss the Clomid conversation?
Exactly.
I must have missed that conversation.
It went right over my head, because
maybe I wasn't interested. Maybe I should have just paid a little bit more attention. But y'all didn't tell me it was like this, so I'm just trying to figure out. And you feel blindsided. Because you take the medication, you do everything that you're supposed to. They put it in there. You see it go in there, and you're like, "What the hey? Like, what is? Why is it not working? How did you feel second time going around? And it not going your way.
Honestly, I felt robbed.
Right.
I had already felt kind of robbed because I was like, having to do the IVF process, you know that you have to give up a certain amount of surprise, right? Like
Right.
there are just certain things you're just gonna know. And I'm the type of person who was always like, I'm not doing, no, they better not tell me what my baby is. I want my baby to come out and the doctor say, you had a, like I've
Right.
always been that
Right.
person. I
Right.
want to
Right.
I want to fully just immerse myself in the process and just find out what it is and meet my baby when I meet my baby. I don't want nobody telling me what it is before it gets here. And IVF kind of robs you of the ability to be able to have those kind of moments. So I felt robbed already. And then after that second retrieval and transfer, I was like, I I, I feel like I got really angry. Because I was just kind of like, to your point, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do. I
Right.
started taking all of these supplements. I mean, you can't even take them all in one sitting. So you gotta break them in half, take half in the morning, half in the night. I'm like trying to make sure that I'm eating well. I'm taking all of these, I'm eating Brazil nuts and drinking pom-pom juice. I'm doing all of the things. And I'm just like, if nothing is wrong with me, why is nothing working? And I am the
Right.
only person in my family, with the exception of my much younger brother, he ain't that young, but he's young at heart, who does not have children yet. I think out of
Right.
all of my cousins on in my age group, I'm the only one that does not have a child. Um, and so it's out of a majority of my friends as well that doesn't have a child. So it's like this constant reminder. And I went back and forth about whether or not to share with people
Yeah.
um, what I was doing, because on one hand I was like, well, I don't want to have to deal with the disappointment, but then on the other hand, I also was like, I also don't want to do this by myself. Like my partner is so
Right.
supportive, he's so amazing, and
Right.
he's, you know, really been in it the entire time, but he's still a man. And I tell him all the time, like, as awesome as you are, you don't understand sometimes the societal pressures that we just put on women. Like you are raised to think and act and be. And so there's certain things about this process that he just wouldn't understand. And one of my really good girlfriends, she had gotten to the place of like, I think doing like an IUI, and then she got pregnant. So she would be like, it's by any means necessary, Sonya. Don't worry. You're going to get your baby. We're going to get a little cousin for my goddaughter, Lily. We're going to do it. It's by any means necessary. And then by that point, I was just like, I thought I am willing to by any means necessary. But I'm like, but I've done so much already and
Right.
nothing is happening. Child, the first night I took injections for my first retrieval, I was in Texas with my sister-in-law at Sarah Jakes Roberts, uh, what's it, change? No, Woman Evolve conference. I was there, and the theme that year was surrender. And I'm like, God, I'm here. I'm gonna surrender this entire process to you. Like I just felt like I am here and I'm willing to do all of the things. How
Right.
how how am I possibly here right now?
Right.
So after that, um, we just was like, you know what? It's the first one. People sometimes it doesn't work. The transfer doesn't work the first one. We didn't have a transfer the first time. So this is really our first one.
Right.
Let's just try again. I've been taking the supplements longer by the time we do a retrieval. It should be good.
Right.
Now, this time we were like, we are really gonna believe that it's gonna work and also recognize that this is our third
Right.
retrieval, which insurance only covers up to three. And so essentially the plan was, let's go into this third retrieval and we are going to really expect all things. There's no wavering. We're going to really just believe that this is going to work. And we did the retrieval in January, but we, as we were preparing for all of that in December, we had planned a vacation in January. We were like, it's going to be a celebration because we're going to be so excited because we pregnant. And I think this is around the time that I actually connected with you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Because you
So
said
in my mind,
on my third retrieval. You know what I'm saying? This is
I,
perfect. I get
I'm
it.
like, I'm gonna share my story. Ooh, it's gonna be
Ooh.
great. No, maybe I should have wrapped that blanket and put it under the Christmas tree. That thing that people be doing, because that one, I felt really good going in. I felt like, oh my God, this is gonna be it. We both felt that way. I got 19 eggs, and the
Wow.
doctor that did the not 19, excuse me, 13
Okay.
eggs. And the doctor that did the retrieval, when it was done, she was like, I don't think you should do another fresh transfer. Go ahead and just do a frozen transfer. This is your last transfer. So you really want to make sure that everything is as it needs to be. I'm like,
Right.
it was a black woman. I said, say less. I'm going to do
Right.
what she said. We going to just make it work. So now it's really just like, let us prepare ourselves for um, that transfer. Let's get all the eggs tested, as many as we can. But I'm willing and able to do a fresh transfer if they seem so. But I will promise you, we went into that retrieval definitely thinking this was going to be the last one. That retrieval, I don't know what was making what happen, but the last retrieval that I did during the process of doing my stims, I would wake up and my eyes would be swollen. There were days I couldn't walk. It was just a very weird time. Yeah, it was like I was having so much inflammation on my back, on my pressure on my back. I already have a bad back. I had like a weird car accident where someone hit my car like in 2012. And so since then, because I dance every like 6 months, I have to be very mindful. Like I'll go to the chiropractor, I'll do all the things. And my back was like, I literally could not walk some days. It was like the more stims I was doing, I would get pain shooting down my legs. The doctor was like, you don't have OHSS. It doesn't look like anything's happening, but I would literally wake up and my eyes would be swollen.
Oh wow.
I was having that problem. There were some days I felt like so super nauseous. And I was like, I did not have this issue the first or the second time. So it kind of threw me for a loop. But again, by any means necessary, I'm hearing my friend talk in my ear. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? This is the last time we have to do this. So it's okay. We're going to get a baby out of this and it's going to be all right. Everything's going to work out. So when I found out that we had 13 eggs, I was so excited because I was like, oh,
That's
yes, thank you,
amazing.
God.
That's
Thank you,
amazing.
God. We had 5 of them make it to blast. What was like four was 5 day, and I think the fifth was 6 days.
Right.
And we sent all 5 to be tested, and I battled with that a lot too, because there's a lot of talk about, should you test, maybe you shouldn't
Right.
test, and I'm like, what
Right.
if I test and they just get in the bad stuff that was going to be in the placenta, and that is actually like my baby, and I should just use it, I should just go ahead and use it. So we went back and forth with that, but because it was our last transfer, we were like, you know what, let's just go ahead. Statistically, you're going to get 25%. We may be lucky and get 2, so maybe not 1 but 2. We sent in 5, we know we at least gonna get 1.
Right.
All 5 came back abnormal.
Oh no.
And yeah, that was really hard. That I was like, I was prepared to come back and find out that we only got 1, but I wasn't
Right.
prepared. And I was prepared for 1, and I was hoping for 3
So
to have.
just let me ask this: that they're
Mm-hmm.
abnormal. Do you know, like, are they low mosaic? Are they all high complex? Like, do you know?
See, no, I know
You
nothing. So that was that. I'm glad you asked that, because in my mind
okay?
over the last because okay, so we got this information maybe like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
I think maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe even 4 weeks ago. It might be a month now. But when we got the information, all times that we tested before, the doctor would just call us and let us know what the numbers are and things like that.
Right.
But in the Facebook group that I'm in, I would sometimes see people have like literal results. And so
Right.
I would be like, so okay, maybe every clinic just doesn't do this, and da 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 da. So when he called, he said that all 5 were abnormal. We wouldn't be able to utilize any of them. And I think I was just in so much shock that I was just kind of like, I didn't ask those questions. But then I also, over the last like week or so, I've been like, how come I want to see it on paper? I don't know. Maybe it's
Yeah.
a conspiracy theorist in me who's like, show me on paper all, because if that's not likely to happen, I need you to show me all 5 on paper. What does it say? And you know what? The 2 from the first round, let me see that paper too.
Facts. I would want to know the complexity of those. Not saying that, it's, that they're going to take, but we do see all the time that certain embryos
That's what
that
people
are
are saying.
abnormal do take. So D, she came on here. She had I want to tell you this. I've done 4 or maybe 5 interviews of women who did not have their baby when they did their interview. 4 of the 5 are pregnant.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, 4 of the 5 are pregnant that did the interview. I just want to put that out there.
I'm gonna take the good juju. I'll take all the good juju.
Listen. I'm like, listen. I need to rub up on me too, because listen, we in the same boat, okay?
Both of us.
So I need to rub up on both of us. Number 2, we need to find out for sure what the grades are. D came on. She had a failed transfer. Her embryo was normal. She had 2 embryos from her batch. Now she did use an egg. She used double donor, so she had an egg donor and she had the sperm donor.
Oh, okay.
But the one that came back, she had 2 that came back. Both were boys tested. One was normal. He did not take. The low level abnormal mosaic embryo has taken and she's pregnant.
Oh my God.
So she's pregnant now, yeah. So definitely now there are some complex, that you probably don't want to, but the low level ones, the studies are showing that they are possible to transfer. So definitely find out about your grades and what type of abnormal they are. They didn't discard anything, did they?
No, so that was another thing that I found out after the fact. That one of the billing people or the nursing people, they called me because I was like, I want to confirm how many transfers I had left. So they said I had 1 transfer left. The one untested embryo that I had from the second retrieval, I'm supposed to transfer that one in. I guess my period should start any day now, and I assume in the next like 2 weeks. Then maybe, then I would do a frozen transfer.
Right.
With that one from the second embryo. But when I spoke to that woman on the phone, she explained to me the discarding part. I had assumed each time when they told me it was abnormal, they was like, well,
no.
And
you have to
she was like, no, you have to tell.
You have to sign. Yeah, you have to sign off on it.
Yeah. That's what she told me. I said, oh, so again, we didn't have our information just yet about the test results. So I was like, oh, okay. So when I find out about the test results, when I do the transfer, I can just let them know at that time what to do with the rest. And she was like, yes, you just let them know and then they will discard them or whatever. I talked with my fiancé about it and he was like, yeah, like, again, us being like, we gonna be doing our transfers. We gonna have this child so we can discard whatever is, extra.
Right.
Unfortunately, this is where we are. So I actually had been thinking over the last week or so, like I should email the doctor and just be like, can I have the paperwork for the test results?
For sure.
Just to see what level they're at.
Because it could be a situation because if they're, okay, so they tested them, but they came back abnormal, you could still transfer. If they're low level, you could probably do 2 of them or maybe possibly 3. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so if they're low level, you can go ahead and say, these are all low level, put all these babies in, and let's see if any of them actually turn into actual babies.
Possibly, yeah. So Shannon had, Sharon used, she has a partner, she's a female, Shannon put 5 in.
Oh, yes, girl. She said we want 2, so all 5 chances.
She got 1. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, yeah, she got 1. So, listen, it's a crapshoot, whatever you're going to do. But I would just say because they are low level, maybe that they may do it. But it also just depends on your clinic too itself. But
yeah, I saw somebody ask what clinic in New York. The clinic I started with was Kofinas, and the clinic I am with right now is Genesis Fertility. That's and so I don't know. Yeah, Genesis Fertility. It's I don't know if they would put any of those in or what. Yeah. So originally, before we did our testing. The plan that we had, my fiance and I, was to say, okay, we believe this one is going to work. But if it doesn't work, we're just going to save up our dollars. And when we were wedding planning, we were like, we'll just save this amount of money right here to go to CNY. Like, we in New York, it would be much easier for us to go drive up to Albany or Syracuse or Buffalo. So that was the plan. I mean, but we were so convinced that it was going to work. We planned our wedding assuming that I would be 4 months pregnant at that time and I wouldn't have to worry about having to drink, but we was going to have a baby shower after the wedding was over. Cause we was like, I don't want to have a wedding right after I have a baby, and we not going to take my baby on no plane to go nowhere for no destination wedding. And they ain't got all their shots. So we literally planned it with the idea that all of this was going to work. And after we found out that it didn't work, him seeing how affected I was, like, physically by that last round, he was like, I don't know if I want you to do that again. And I was like, child, when I was doing it, I was like, thank God I don't have to do this again. And now I'm finding out that I probably would. So we kind of got to a place where we said, what we'll do is we get married in August. So we said, we'll just go do the wedding right now and then see how we feel after. And if necessary, go ahead, maybe do a round with CNY, assuming we were going to have to do a retrieval again and another transfer, with the understanding that if the frozen transfer that eventually will happen when my period comes this month didn't take. But of course, I still have that untested embryo. I still have that frozen transfer. So it's just to wait to see what happens. Literally all day today, he's like, so did your period come today? And I'm just like, no, but I feel the pains. So I know it's coming. It's like, it just ain't show up yet, but I know it's coming. Yeah. So it's just really, that's kind of the space that we were in. But if what you guys are saying is true, I'm 1,000% open to being like, listen, take them eggs and we could put them in and just do a transfer or something if that's possible. I don't know if it is with my clinic, but I mean, first to find out what level of abnormal, I guess it was.
Well, CNY is definitely going to be more affordable. You know what I'm saying? If you guys ran out. So, and I do know, I think for sure that Freedom's in here. She used CNY. I think they take, I think they will transfer low levels depending on the complexity and the grade. I do know, like, they go through, you're in New York, so they already should, there's a little bit more difficulties because they have to be FDA approved. CNY does like a little process and stuff, but they will transfer low level embryos. And again, as I said, it depends on the complexity of the embryos themselves. There's also a Facebook group called My Perfect Mosaic Embryo, I think, of women who have abnormal embryos. And they all say the same thing. Do not discard your abnormal embryos. One, technology changes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So technology advancements and all these different things. And so they always say don't discard them because something may come out and then you may be able to use those embryos. And some policies change there. Okay, so they still do full abnormal, if I'm not wrong. So Leah, we got a couple of CNY girls in here. The Facebook group, yeah, they're full of abnormal embryos. So that Facebook group is definitely a good resource to use. And then we got 2 CNY girlies who have used them before. So I definitely would. Here's what I'm hearing. You have a doctor, but they're not like fully supportive. Like, it's kind of like it is what it is.
Let me tell you, literally, it is what it is. I realized that was the doctor that I had when 2 weeks had passed. And I was like, well, I'm not hearing anything yet. And a girl that I work part-time for an airline because I'd be bored. And I'd be like, let me just go to the airport. And the girl at the airport was like, oh, no news is good news because she's at RMA. and
Right.
she is about to start her third one. So she was like, if they take too long, it's probably no news is good news. But I'm like, they've been over 2 weeks at this point. It don't take that long. It took 10 days the last time. I counted. I remember. And
Right.
so I called, I left a message, and I sent an email. I was just like, hey, this is Sonya, and I'm just trying to find out, da 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 da. I get a phone call like that Wednesday. I think I left a message. I think that Monday was a holiday. I don't remember what Monday it was, but I got a
Right.
call like that Tuesday or Wednesday, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to call you. We found out a couple of days ago that," and I'm like, as soon as you found out, why did y'all not? I'm like,
Right.
to me, I'm
There's
like,
there.
this is, this to me, that's when I was like, oh, he don't care. Because I'm like,
Right.
you're telling me I had a retrieval and I got 5 eggs to go to blast and go, and now you're saying all 5 are abnormal and you forgot to call me? You didn't
Right.
think like this is something that could be like earth shattering? I, I feel like that's why I was like, oh no, I'm just in shock. They was mad. He was mad, mad.
I'm about to be really honest here. This is what I hear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have insurance. It's exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
You're over 40.
Mm-hmm.
You're not good for their statistics. You know what I'm saying? You're not good.
Mm-hmm.
You got embryos that came to blastocysts. You've already had one failed transfer. At this point, you're wasting their time. It shouldn't be
Mm.
that way, but
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's over 40. She's over 40. But the fact is,
Yeah, I'll be
like,
42 in like 3 weeks.
she had some decent retrievals. Like she had 8 eggs, she had 13 eggs. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm. And
saying?
then I
So
think
she's
the
had
second
good
one I had like
retrievals.
9.
It's just that
Mm-hmm.
age is just not, unfortunately, on your
It's
side.
not it's just not on our side.
But girl, because listen, I'm sitting here at a good age of 45. Okay, 44, somewhere around there. And when I tell you, it was like 1 or 2. So, that's
Oh.
really good, like, to be over 40, because that's what I tell everybody. Like, natural conception and IVF are two totally different situations of you naturally getting pregnant. That is
Yeah.
one good egg that made it. You
Just
know,
was like, "Pa, I'm here."
right? That just did it. But when you're doing IVF, it's just a gamut, and it sounds like you did everything like you were supposed to do. So I want you to know that, because you said you changed your diet, you did the
Mm-hmm.
things,
Mm-hmm.
exercising, which is the
All the
reason why you got the
things.
13 eggs. That's why you got the 13. But
But
when
then I
I'm
was like,
listening
if I
to
did all
your
the things,
story,
5 eggs and all abnormal, I was like, but I did
right,
all the things.
right, you're wasting their, like, for them to tell you, oh, you forgot. At this point, they all have portals.
Mm-hmm.
They all have portals that they put that stuff in the portal, whether they call you or not, and you can see those results in the
Mm-hmm.
portal. And then you'll say, they'll get a call back or saying, hey, this is what we have. This is your results. Let's talk about them. But the fact
Mm-hmm.
that they're sitting here telling you he forgot, like, this is your money, and you forgot, sir.
The
You
least you could have
don't
did is call me as soon as you
don't
found
even
out.
worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Move my babies,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Let's move my babies up out of here, because you can give it a try, with them. But is he planning to change? I don't know whether they even be willing to change your protocol, because what they should do is, I'm not a doctor, but I've talked to we listen. We have enough of these conversations. Your
Mm-hmm.
embryos didn't take. The first one didn't take, or you didn't make any. You didn't make any blastocysts. They were abnormal, so you still have that one. Number 2 didn't transfer. So now, have they even talked about doing maybe an ERA to make sure, like, you're getting
So
enough
I asked about
progesterone?
that. I asked about all of that, and I was like, well, with Kofinis, the first clinic that I was with, they are super like, oh, we're gonna test for everything before we even really start. So I was like, I think I did one already. I don't know. Like, can you go through the
Right,
paperwork and just confirm that I did before I even started like the IVF process? Just the
right,
way people were describing it, I was like, I feel like I took a test that was just like that, and he was just like, oh, well, it doesn't look like you did, but even if you did, that was still February, March of 2024, he was like,
Right.
we would have just done another one or something. And he was just kind of like, it's a situation where he's real big on, there's studies that don't really say that actually works. Like, if I say, oh, well, like me taking the different supplements, I'll be like, okay, I'll take it. He was like, you don't really need to take any supplements. And I'll just be like,
Right.
he was like, you could take CoQ10 and just take a good prenatal and you should be good. And I'll be like
Right.
seeing all this other stuff, like, oh no, there's all this stuff here
Right.
that they're saying that this would be good, this would be good. He'd be like, the studies aren't really showing that that's really gonna do anything. But I was like, well, I'm gonna take it anyway and just see,
Right.
ultimately I'd rather take it and be mad that I'm taking 15 whatever pills a day versus not taking anything and then having the outcome that I had, which is what I assumed. So
Right. And
I don't
then
know.
Leah, so Leah's in the chat here. She said that she had 2 great retrievals, over 30 eggs, 15 blasts, but all of hers were normal too, and she was in her late 30s. So that's not, it's not uncommon. It's not
Mm-hmm.
uncommon for you to yield abnormal embryos after a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
But we're both, and they're both saying the same thing, is we need to find out what them grades are. What type of abnormal are they, and don't discard them.
Mm-hmm.
But just so you know, Leah, Freedom, they're both in the chat, they're both mommies. Okay, so they got their babies, and
Congratulations.
You will too. You will too.
I'm really hopeful.
Yeah.
I be saying, like, God, if you didn't want me to be a mom, then why you be pushing so hard for this? Like, I really feel like I'm supposed to be a mom. I feel like I'm supposed to have a child. I just feel like that is what is supposed to happen. I have a friend of mine who, she literally had told me before the third retrieval that she had had a dream that had told her that I was pregnant, and that's when I told her that I was doing IVF. That's what she told me about the dream that she had. And then the day that I called her, because I was calling her to ask her to be one of my bridesmaids, and she thought I was calling her to tell her that I was pregnant because she had had a dream that night that she saw me walking around full belly. And so I'm like, you know what, God, I'm gonna just wait and see what happens, because I don't need to worry about the how. I just need to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power and within my control to show up so that I can be able to receive whatever blessing that you are going to give to me. I've always been someone who also wanted to adopt, so I know that that is something I'm going to do regardless, but I do want to be able to biologically bring a child into this world, especially because, like, for my fiance, he's the last boy. His mom only had boys. His dad passed away. All of his brothers only have girls, and so I was like, "Oh, we gonna get that. We gonna continue this lineage. We're gonna get this boy. We're gonna get the lineage going. We're gonna bring some girls in here too, because we need girls on my side. All of the things, we're gonna make it happen." So,
well, Leah and Freedom, they both moved to donor, so they have an egg donor. Leah her doctor was willing to do another egg retrieval, but she decided to move to donor. And then she said being a mom was on my heart, and she got her baby. So, I just tell people, moving on from your genetics to egg donation is definitely something that, it's the same process you did when you were like, I'm just going to do this by myself, but I will say, if motherhood is is what you want, you can get your baby.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Right.
I know. Before we even started the process, there was a girl who was on TikTok. She had mentioned that there was a Facebook group where, I guess, potential donors and women could connect. I don't remember what it was. Like, this is like very early. I don't even think I had started doing any kind of stems at that time. But she was talking about how she was doing CNY, and then she switched to Utah and ended up getting a donor egg, and she ended up having her daughter that way.
Yeah,
and I talked to my
fiance. It was me. It was me. It was my group. I can tell you it was me because you said Utah.
Oh, because that's I was like, I don't know, but like I said, I don't remember the group name, nothing. It was like probably like August, September when I had watched the tip. I watched that girl whole story, and then I had the conversation with my fiance, or rather, he was just my boyfriend at the time.
I bet you it was Sherry.
What state do they live in?
They live in Georgia.
Yes, she lived in Georgia, and she had a girl.
Yes,
I don't
it's
remember her
me.
name, but I watched that girl whole story on YouTube. I said,
It's
"Oh,
Sherry
she got a
It's
baby.
Sherry
Yes,
Yvette.
Lord."
It's Sherry Yvette. She's one of my admins, but she did CNY for
Hmm.
sure.
And then she
She messaged
switched to
she
someplace in
messaged
Utah.
me. She messaged me and she said she tried with her own eggs,
Mm-hmm.
and she messaged me. She has Ella. Her name is Ella. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, I'm thinking about switching to donor. Can you tell me about Utah? And I said yes. And she booked her appointment,
Mm-hmm.
and she picked a donor. The donor ended up, they didn't use her, so she messaged me about that. And she said, what should I do? And I said, do you want to be a mom? She said yes. I said, well, get the eggs. Get the eggs that were available. And she did. She went to Utah. Me and her actually went to Utah together the first time that she went out.
Oh.
Both
Mm-hmm.
of our transfers failed.
Mm-hmm.
And she then went on in February, and she went again. And I think Ella's her fourth transfer, but she got pregnant. She has Ella. But that's me. It's
Good
nice
work.
to meet you. It's nice to meet you.
That's what I said. When I tell you that's probably one of the first set of YouTube videos I even started watching when I started thinking about IVF. And so I had spoken to my then boyfriend at the time, and I said, so there's this girl on YouTube. She had to go through all this stuff, and then she did this. I said, if we start this and it doesn't work, are we open to doing this thing? And I said, if it gets to that point where I can't, I said we could still use your sperm and we can make it happen. Like he's like, if we have to, then we'll do that. But I think right now we're in kind of this numb grieving stage. Like every time when I talk about it, I could feel like tears come like here, but they don't like fall. And so I'm like, well now I'm like, okay, let's get past this part and then let's regroup and see, do we need to do it this way?
Right.
And if we do, again, I said, I joked with him and I said, it's just like adoption, but it's literally adoption at conception. So, you know, I said, and the baby would have your biology, and I'm okay with that. Like, if I get to carry that baby, I still get to be a mom. I'm still a mom. Even if I don't carry that baby, I'm still a mom, you know? And so ultimately, we're just like, let's just get through the wedding and then let's circle up and see like what makes the most sense. And I've never been pregnant. So I am like, I assume if we had a good egg and his sperm is good and my body is saying that it's good, then we could still do this, you know? So it's just to be like, okay, let's get past all this rigmarole of wedding planning and then jump in and see what we want to do, you know?
So here's the thing with egg donation is it takes the biological clock ticking out of the equation. Because and the reason why I say this, hold on a second. I thought I turned this off. I was like, where did this come from?
I thought so too. I said,
I was like, who dropped this? I was like, who dropped the emote? So, because I have a thing in there that says "Go get your baby," and it plays that.
Because I was like, is it? I said, is it like a keyword? And I said, but I don't think I heard a keyword. I'm like, child, we done said baby like 15 times already, so I didn't even hear it that time.
Jazzy. Okay, here's the thing. You can take your time when it comes to egg donation because we've had Erica on here. Erica was in her 50s. Tanika now, they said she just announced her pregnancy. She's on baby number 2. She's 52. So I mean, you can carry
both donors.
Yeah, so because Erica had she used her partner, her husband, sperm, and Tanika, who did I just say? She just said that they just posted it in the admin chat that she had Sugar Bear, and she had Sugar Bear at 50, and she just transferred again, and she's now pregnant again with her, a sibling for him. So baby number 2, and she's 52. So clinics will go to they will go up to 52. Even sometimes it's depending on how you do 54 and do a transfer. What I will say to you, this is because, but I feel like it's okay to say to you, if this doesn't work out, your doctor's gonna either push. They're gonna say, "Thank you for your services. Like this is all. This is the end of the road," or they're gonna push you to donor. They're gonna say you should just do donor.
That's what I remember. The girl from the YouTube, she was saying like she said there was a moment where she did think like, oh, maybe if they didn't push me to donor, maybe I could have had my wings, but who knows. But in my mind, I was just kind of like, I got this last transfer. We're gonna let this last transfer do what it need to do. I have this one untested frozen embryo that's just been waiting on its time to shine. Let's see what happens from there, and then we'll figure it out, whatever it needs to happen. So in my mind, once this transfer was done, I was leaving the clinic anyway.
Yeah.
And so that was the only reason why I was like, well, let me just do my transfer, and then from there we'll see where I go. So who knows?
So Freedom, I don't know if her clinic does do that, but CNY does do that. Does do an add-on with donor, so you could still maybe do a fourth retrieval with a CNY and do donor egg add-on. And so you can essentially, if you have your embryos plus a donor embryo, donor egg embryo, you could probably transfer them both at the same time. We've had women who do that most of the time. You know, some of them don't care. Some of them do DNA tests. Some have found out that Freedom, did you do that? Yes, I was about to say it. I was like, we had a girl on here, and I was like, it was Freedom. So Freedom did that. She transferred her own original embryo and a donor embryo, and her daughter took, which was a donor embryo. Donor egg is what she did. So yeah, she did that. So you do have that option. I want us to lead this conversation with you knowing like, girl, whatever it is that you choose to do, you gonna get your baby. So I somebody, because again, I do these interviews. I don't have my baby. I can't. I know exactly how you feel right now in this moment. One, it takes a lot of courage, because when I read like what you said, I was like, she don't have her baby yet. So I already knew it was going to be a little bit emotional. I was already prepared for it to be emotional, because no matter what people say, I don't know if it's going to work out for me like if it worked out for you.
Yeah.
And people forget that when they have their baby and they have their toddlers and stuff, and it's like, just have faith it's gonna work out. And it's like, it's great that it worked out for you, but
that does not mean
it's gonna work out for me.
I used to get so, I don't want to say angry, but I definitely would get frustrated and annoyed when I would tell, like, by the third retrieval, I was like, I'm not gonna say nothing until it's over. But I would put in my family group chat, like, okay, I got this many eggs. And then I remember I was by the time we had gotten to like how many embryos, and like my sisters, they would be like, oh great, so we're gonna have twins. And I'm like, I might not get nothing out of this. Like, stop saying that. Just please just say you want me to have a healthy baby. And I would get annoyed, and it was on text, and I would say that each time. And so like then it became like a joke. It became like, okay, we're not saying, we're just saying that maybe it'll be triplets. And I'm just like, I just want to have a healthy baby. It could be one at this point. Like, I don't even care. And when you guys say this kind of joke thing, it's like I could tell they don't understand
it. Right.
They don't understand. And so that's why I was like, we gonna just stop sending it in the family group chat. Y'all gonna find out at the end. This is what it is. I'm not telling y'all no numbers, because child, y'all don't get it. You don't understand.
Because mentally you have to protect your peace. Like, you have to protect it, because you have to say, this is not my first time doing this, and you can be all optimistic with you. This is my third time. This is my third time doing this. And so you do. Every time it doesn't work, you get a little bit more jaded about the situation. You want to be hopeful, but at the same time, you are preparing yourself for the letdown. Leah said that's what makes the community so amazing. The understanding is unmatched. Because I tell them all the time, I'm like, like how you want to. Like, say you're frustrated, because we all get it. We all understand it. And there are days where we don't want to be positive. We just want to, we just want you to look at me and say, it sucks. It freaking sucks. Like, I see people like, oh my gosh, I just got pregnant again. Girl, I don't care. You know, or you can have my kids. I don't want your kids. Like, I want.
Yes. I called one of my sorors called me on the phone and was like, you could I could donate some of my eggs to you. And I'm like, girl, like, I just need this moment to like grieve. I know. She was like, no, I'm serious. And I'm just like, I hear you. But also, you also Black and Chinese. And a part of me also is like, I would take them, but also we gonna just chill for a second and just let me feel these feelings, okay? And then we'll come back.
Feel all the feelings. I'm not here to push you. I'm not here to push you to anything, you know, if that's what you want to do. But, you know, I would feel not giving you the opportunity or just share, because a lot of women who come here, they are egg donor moms, you know, and so you need to join the group. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you get to a point where you're ready to accept, join our group. You know, we will wrap you in our arms. Now, this is what I tell everybody. Now, if you want me to encourage you to keep trying with your eggs, this is not the group for you. Because, girl, we stopped trying our eggs.
Yeah, like, we're past that part now.
We're past that part, Bookie. Okay, we past that part. We have come to the acceptance that we don't listen. We just want the baby. Because we get some women that come in there and they be like, well, the doctor told me I need to do a donor eggs. And we're like, yeah, that's why we all here. Welcome to the community, girl.
This is what we do here.
This is what we do here. Like, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing. When you want us to encourage you to try your eggs, I'm like, I can't encourage you because I didn't try with mine, and so I can't encourage you to try with yours because it is a lot. It is a lot, and they all can tell you it's a lot for Leah to do 2 egg retrievals, to have 30 eggs, all abnormal. She's right there where you are to say. And, you know, she even says, hey, they told me I could do a 3rd retrieval. Get somebody else to do it on the payroll. She was done. You know what I'm saying? But we all get to that point, and you will get to whatever that point is that you can do. Oh, Freedom says she also did 2 egg retrievals as well. But she didn't have as a higher number as you did. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you get to whatever space you get to we'll be here to do it. And if everything works out, we still gonna celebrate with you, girl. Like, we're gonna celebrate no matter what. We're gonna celebrate because I get it. Hey, Charlie, we if anybody gets it, we all get it. And I'm so happy that you came and wanted to talk about this, because there is some woman who is going through the exact same thing that you are going through right now. And it's the same thing I told Dee. Because Dee came on right after she had just had her failed transfer. And I messaged her and I said, do you still want to interview? And she said yes. Probably one of the most powerful interviews that we've had. And when she told us she was pregnant, like, we were all like, everybody was just like, what? Because we all saw her in real time, just like we're going to see you in real time going through this emotion. And I want you to come back when you have that baby and say, I got my baby, y'all.
By any means, except
I got my baby, y'all. I got my baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, Dee is pregnant. She's pregnant. I think she just graduated, or she's close to graduating. Heartbeat is good. Everything is good. But yep, Dee is pregnant. Yeah.
And they used a donor egg.
Yeah, she did double donor. She's a single mom by choice. Dee was another one. She was very adamant of wanting to not to let go of her DNA. And I had to, listen, she had 1 embryo left, and we were all like, if you need embryos, girl, we got you. Like, I was like, put a post in there, and we had women who were ready to give her an embryo. She was like, I want to try my baby boy. I want to make sure, like, if it is. And they had people in the wings saying, you just let me know. We got you. We got you. And we rallied behind her. And when she posted, she said, y'all, he took low-level embryo. And again, this is not even just like her DNA. This was donor egg, you know. And so those become abnormal too. But he was a low-level mosaic, doing just fine. He's thriving. But yeah, go check the group, Freedom. She's posted in there that she's pregnant. But that is totally something that could be exactly for you, no matter what it is. And so, what I just tell people all the time is, if one doctor won't do something, go find another doctor.
Yeah.
Because I don't like, and you know, they're all saying the same thing. They don't like that you're not being supported by your doctor, you know, that it took long enough, you know, that they're sitting on these results. And why are you sitting on the results? Because they're abnormal?
That's what I was like. I was like, oh, well, she's not going to be doing anything like this, so it's not like we have to hurry up and call her. What? That's in my mind. I was like, there's no good reason that I didn't get this call right away. There's no good reason. There's no good reason. And do
you mind me asking you? You said you work part-time. Where is it? I'm just gonna throw them out there. I believe Southwest has fertility benefits, and I also believe that, and Delta definitely has fertility benefits too.
I work part-time for Delta. They do. The girl who's at RMA, she was saying that they do progeny, and then they also just like maybe like a year or so ago, they started doing something where they were like they will give they give extra for if you want to do surrogacy or if you want to do adoption or anything like that. The thing about it is, I don't really be going to work. Like I said, I'll be going for fun, and you have to have a certain amount of hours to count. So I said I'm gonna just start going. And then I'll qualify by January 1st. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, we need to get.
That's why I said. That's why I said, if this year I said we go get through all of this, I'll have enough hours, and then by October I can get back on their insurance, because my partner works for the city, and so because he works for the city, we were like, oh, we should definitely do your insurance because you probably have the best insurance at this point. So I switched to his insurance, and now I'm like, okay, well, by time open enrollment happens, which is in October, we would have had enough time to grieve and kind of like think about what we want to do next, and then I can be able to say, put me on what's this thing right here, and then I'll
and I mean, you can have two, just so you know, you can have two insurances. You can still stay on his insurance and then have your own.
I didn't know that.
Yes, because if they don't cover fertility anymore, you just do what's called a COB. It's coordination of benefits, which just tells them that, hey, I have insurance. They don't cover it because I've exhausted my insurance, and then you just use your insurance with your
with Delta. Okay, note to self, because I thought I was gonna have to get off his to get back on Delta's. Okay, we're gonna be on both then. We're gonna do that.
So when you don't qualify and you don't have enough hours and they drop you from the insurance, you got insurance, baby.